The International Criminal Court has finally delivered a joint sentence of 25 years of imprisonment to Dominic Ongwen. We have the story in our bulletin today. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Nahawa Kajura, and in the headlines, Ugandan government to reduce on electricity tariffs for Ugandans to enjoy electricity on affordable rates. And LRA's Ongwen has been sentenced for 25 years in prison. And mourners pay tribute to South Africa's late Zulu regent, Queen. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. Now, let's have the news in detail. The International Criminal Court has delivered a joint sentence of 25 years of imprisonment to the convicted senior commander of the Lord Resistance Army, Dominic Ongwen. Our reporter has more.
Announcing the 25-year prison term on Thursday, ICC presiding judge Bertram Skimit said judges had to weigh on Ongwen's brutality with his own tortured past as a schoolboy abducted by the LRA when deciding on a sentence. The 45-year-old, who was taken into ICC custody in 2015, was in February found guilty of 61 charges, including murders, rapes and sexual enslavement during a reign of terror in the early 2000s by the LRA led by the fugitive Joseph Kony. Prosecutors had asked for a 20-year prison term for Ongwen, saying his own history justified a lower sentence than the maximum 30 years to life allowed by the ICC. Ongwen was abducted by the LRA as a 9-year-old boy and forced into a life of violence after the group killed his parents during a bloody rebellion in northern Uganda against President Yoweri Museveni. Ongwen was also the first person convicted by the ICC of the crime of forced pregnancy for abducting and raping so-called wives, some of whom were underage. Ongwen surrendered to U.S. Special Forces who were haunting Kony in the Central African Republic in early 2015. The sentence, according to the law, can be appealed.
Well, thank you so much, our reporter. Now, moving on, the government has announced that the country is now in the second wave of COVID-19 pandemic after the number of infections increased by 81% between March and April. We have the report. The government has warned of tough containment measures, including possibility of a total lockdown if the situation goes out of hand. According to the Ministry of Health, the pandemic often starts slowly with a lag phase, and then there is a rapid phase. And finally, we hit a stationary phase. Uganda currently is in the second wave of the pandemic. We might hit a point where infections rapidly go up as it happened in India. The Minister of Health, Dr. Ruth Chen, said that resurgency is presenting with rising cases of infections among children between the age of 10 and 29. The government announced last week that besides the Indian strain, the country has also registered 4 other strains, including Ugandan, Nigerian, and South African and UK variants. Dr. Acheng said in the districts hit most by COVID-19, the affected individuals are being isolated at Jinja Regional Referral Hospital, according to the minister. Since the outbreak of the pandemic in 2020, a total of 42,102 cases of infections had been reported in the country as of yesterday. The Ministry of Health has identified 5 laboratories with the ability to test 5,000 samples per day and tasked them to set up testing points in Entebbe town to test incoming travelers for Category 1 and 2 countries. Reporting for TV Africa News, Nahawe Kajura. Well, thank you so much, our reporter. Now, talking about the International Day of the Family, governments say that the big hit that the COVID-19 pandemic caused to the public, the lockdown helped much to create more time for family members to interact and bond. This was announced by the Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development, Mutuzo Peace, at the Media Center in Kampala. Our reporter has more. Since President Museveni announced the lockdown in 2020, the police report indicates that although there was 8.9% decline in the volume of crimes, with a total of 13,682 children being defiled, the majority of whom were the girl child victimized by their close family members. While addressing journalists today at the Media Center in Kampala, Honorable Mutuza Peace said despite those challenges, the lockdown helped to create much time for interactions and bond between family members, which was not there. As Uganda joins the rest of the world to commemorate the International Day for Family, on 14th May 2021, government appealed to the public to take advantage of different programs like Uganda Women Entrepreneurship Program, Youth Livelihood Program, and others to access capital and agriculture inputs to rebuild livelihoods. This year's theme is COVID-19 pandemic and the family in Uganda challenges, opportunities and lessons learned, and the official ceremony will be held at the Fairway Hotel. Well, thank you so much, our reporter. Now, the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development is working together with Uganda Electrification Regulatory Authority to reduce the high cost of electricity to make it affordable for Ugandans. Well, this was announced by Honorable Mary Goretti Chituntu. We have the report.
Commercial users, who include small-scale industries, fuel pumps and millers among others, pay 639.8 Ugandan shillings from 642.2 shillings, while medium industrialists pay 556 shillings per unit. Domestic consumers, who include households, pay a subsidized fee of 250 shillings for the first 15 units every month before paying 750.9 Ugandan shillings. While large industrial consumers pay 361 shillings per unit, extra large industrial consumers pay 301.7 shillings per unit. Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, Honorable Mary Goretti Chituntu, has assured Ugandans that government is going to reduce the electricity prices to the affordable rate for all people to access it.
Ebintu ebyateekebwa ku lupapula ebyawumeme kati bitukosa nnyo kuba kati gavumenti twagala abalina amakolero bakole naye kati kugamba amasanyalazi ebbeeyi y'amasanyalazi gye tulina okukolako era kati tulikolera wamu n'ekitongole ekya Electricity Regulatory Authority okwekenneenya contract eyo era n'abawumeme twali twabitandiseko era nsuubira Abannayuganda bwe tuba tetusobodde kwekkaanya kubanga contract ya umeme egwako mu 2025.
She said the ministry has also planted more power stations of electricity in different parts of the country, and over 60 solar street lights in different town councils have been placed.
And approximately 12,000 kilometers of low voltage lines have been constructed to date. All district headquarters have been connected to the national electricity grid except Buvuma. Feasibility study to connect Buvuma district headquarters to the electricity grid was completed. The government has secured funding for works. Implementation expected to be completed November 2023. Sub-counties. Government secured funding to electrify a total of 620 unelectrified sub-county headquarters and town councils.
Among the challenges the ministry is facing, Minister Chituntu said vandalism on transmission lines and artisanal miners, but now the ministry has embarked on addressing these challenges. Government will assess Umeme's performance in terms of service delivery as agreed in the contract, which expires in 2025, and decide whether to renew it or not. Nalgo Muyingo, Africa Today.
Well, thank you so much, our reporter. Now let's go for a quick break. We shall come back with more news. Welcome back from the break. You're still watching TV Africa, the right to know. Now, in our international news today, Ethiopia's elections, which are just a month away, are already facing obstacles. With the war in the northern Tigray region and ethnic violence, although posters of the Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's Prosperity Party are already up.
Ahmed came to power 3 years ago and promised to hold the most democratic elections and promised a break from Ethiopia's authoritarian past. But the opposition says that hasn't happened and fears a repeat of 2005 vote, which saw a lethal crackdown on protesters. Birhanu Nega, leader of opposition Ethiopian Citizens for Social Justice Party, said that what happened in 2005 and later made it abundantly clear for most Ethiopians, including people in the old ruling party, that there was no peace when a government is in power without any popular legitimacy. Diplomats say the electoral board is missing logistic support, which is usually provided by the military who are tied up in Tigray. Opposition parties are also planning to boycott the June 5 vote, as some candidates have been arrested and their officials vandalized.
Well, moving on, the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, with the African World Heritage Fund and their partners, is organizing a series of events across the continent to promote African culture and heritage. We have the report.
The African Union, together with UNESCO, made the pledge yesterday during the commemoration of the 2021 African World Heritage Day under the theme African Union, Year of Arts, Culture and Heritage, Levers for Building the Africa We Want. Each year on May 5th, African cultural and natural, tangible and intangible heritage is celebrated across the globe, creating awareness of the benefits of promoting and preserving African cultural heritage, as well as the associated challenges faced on the continent. It was agreed that events such as virtual concerts, webinars and the annual youth forum that will highlight the resilient opportunities and wealth to be gained from African heritage, as well as explore forward-moving solutions to see Africa thrive within an ever more digital global landscape, will be organized.
While mourners in traditional leopard skin regalia on Wednesday gathered outside a Johannesburg morgue to accompany the body of the late Zulu regent Queen Shiyiwe Mantfombi on the eve of her funeral. Our reporter has more.
The 65-year-old Queen Shiyiwe Mantfombi Dlamini Zulu died on April 30th, weeks after she was named interim successor to her late husband, King Goodwill Zwelithini, the longest-serving leader of South Africa's largest ethnic group. At the head of her funeral, hundreds of mourners paraded through the inner city suburb of Hillbrow, singing and dancing as they made their way to the mortuary under clear autumn sky. Mourners will accompany the Queen's remains to KwaKhangaleMakhanganane Royal Palace in the southeastern town of Nongoma, around 480 kilometers from Johannesburg, where she will be buried. Zwelithini died on March 12th, aged 72, after half a century on the throne following a battle with diabetes-related illness. Although the title of Zulu King does not bestow executive power, the charismatic Zwelithini had moral influence over more than 11 million Zulus, nearly a fifth of South Africa's population.
A U.S. delegation arrived in Sudan to meet with its finance minister on Tuesday to discuss the economy and the tension over Ethiopia's Nile Dam project, which is feared to impact the water supply of Egypt and Sudan. We have the report.
During a press conference with Sen Chris Coons, Sudanese Finance Minister Jibril Ibrahim said the U.S. senators are playing a role now in the issue of the Renaissance Dam and the issue of borders between Sudan and Ethiopia. Negotiations are ongoing between Egypt, Ethiopia and Sudan, aimed at resolving a years-long dispute over the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, Ethiopia being built on the Nile River's main tributary. The tensions center on large swaths of agricultural land Sudan says are within its borders in the Al-Fashaka area, which Ethiopian farmers have cultivated for years. The U.S. Congress delegation is on a 3-day visit to Sudan and is also expected to meet the country's Transitional Sovereignty Council chairman, General Abdel Fattah Burhan, and Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok.
While away from business, in Africa Today Sports, a Malian woman made a world record after giving birth to 9 babies at once after only expecting 7, according to Mali's Minister of Health and the Moroccan clinic where the nonoplates were born. Our reporter has more.
According to the Mali's health minister, Rachid Kodali said in a statement, the 5 girls, 4 boys and their mother are all doing well. Mali's top health official announced that the mother, a 25-year-old Harima Sisse, gave birth to the babies by cesarean section on Tuesday in Morocco after being sent there for special care. The Casablanca clinic's director, Youssef Aloy, said he had been contacted by Malian doctors about the case a month and a half ago, but they were not expecting 9 babies. Sisse gave birth prematurely at 30 weeks and suffered heavy bleeding, for which she was given a blood transfusion, though she's now in stable condition. The Guinness Book of World Records said in an email on Wednesday that its current record for most living births at once is 8 and that it is verifying the Morocco birth.
While in Africa Today Sports, CAF President Patrice Motsepe and FIFA President Gianni Infantino have both called for unity in football. The call was made in Ivory Coast on Tuesday at the launch of a Pan-African Inter-School tournament that will help improve the continent's football infrastructure. Our reporter has more.
While launching the Pan-African Inter-School tournament on Tuesday, Federation for International Football Association President Gianni Infantino said that they had no time to lose by standing divided and called upon the entire Ivorian football to shine again. Infantino was accompanied by the CAF president Patrice Motsepe and local football legend Didier Drogba to the event in the Ivory Coast capital, Yamoussoukro. Patrice Motsepe, the CAF president, said that there will be progress in the football field which members from CAF and FIFA express in support for unity. Didier Drogba, former Chelsea star and Ivory Coast international, who was present also at the launch, said that the launch of the Inter-School Pan-African Championships is a good thing for African football, for African youth and for school football. Football is the most popular sport in Africa. The Ivorian national team won African Cup of Nations in Senegal in 1992 and won a second in 2015. TV Africa News, Kachanchu Mtabazi reporting.
Thank you so much, our reporter. Now, before we end the bulletin, let's have a recap of our top stories. Ugandan government to reduce on electricity tariffs for Ugandans to enjoy electricity on affordable rates. An LRA's Ogwen has been sentenced for 25 years in prison. And mourners paid tribute to South Africa's late Zulu regent, Queen. That was Africa Today. Thank you so much for joining us from where we started from. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We shall keep updating you. It is TV Africa, the right to know.
This is Africa, and that was the news.